Yeah.
Okay, we are live with the one and only Jake Hanan. Did I say it right? Is it Hanan?
It's Hannon, but Hanan. People just call me that. It's Hannon though. Hannon.
Okay, Hanan. The one and only Jacob Hanan. I feel like there should be a drum roll. Like, I feel like we should. It's almost like the vibration over here was so strong with
rumbled the entire table.
That we knocked you down over there. It's amazing.
You did. Yeah.
That's amazing. How many other coaches, Jacob, watch film like your team tonight until almost 9 o'clock?
I'm sure there's a bunch. I mean, again, we're trying to, as coaches, help our teams have the best opportunity to be successful. And I feel like film does that. Even though it's late, we still got to be able to go over some things and see things that were good and see things that were bad, and then see opponents that we're about to face. So, like, I think if we're trying to give all of our athletes the best opportunity to win, I feel like that is a big part of it. And I think a lot of people do that. So, yeah, we were up here at 7:30, and then we go until almost 9 o'clock, just watching and getting things right. So tomorrow we're ready to go, fresh and ready.
I love it. Okay,
yeah.
So
Jacob, do you? For those that watching, Jacob's club director at Drive Nation, coaches the 14s and 16s, and so he had a film session with the 16s tonight. Do you just show them film of their matches today? Or are you kind of the coach, like you'll pull a clip out of Gladiator or Rocky and kind of like throw in something different, to like mix it up a little bit?
No, it's not movie time. It's film time. It's a little different. We watch current stuff so that we see what we did today, good and bad, things that worked, things that didn't work, and then we go over who we're playing tomorrow, and possibility of who we might play, so that we kind of know an idea. So yeah, because to me, again, I don't want to get too far ahead, so we don't get too far ahead, but because anything can happen in this tournament, so we just want to make sure we are prepared. Prepared, and that's what it's all about. Giving your team the best preparation for success. So, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. And then kind of go over good and bad stuff. So no, it's all film of what we currently have done, or what we're about to do, or who we've played in the past, so that we can see the things that kind of help us a little bit more going forward. That's the way I think of it. But no, we don't do Rocky, and we don't do like Miracle. Although I would love to watch Miracle every day, it's just not something that we're doing with this squad right now.
Well, Jacob, I just want you to know that on the way in the Uber today, Coach Sam took over the sound in the Uber. And Coach Sam, would you like to share what we listened to on the way of day one Triple Crown?
Oh, here we go.
We had a lovely Uber driver, and I am a diehard Rocky fan, even though Rocky 5 should have never been made. And so I said to him, I go, if you had like Eye of the Tiger right now, like you are the best Uber driver ever. So he gave me his cord, and we had Eye of the Tiger going on as we were getting
the whole Uber ride.
Yeah.
No.
So Chris and Sam are rocking out, and they're singing, and then Chris tries to put the mic in front of me, and I'm like, I don't know this song.
Yeah. She goes, I don't know this.
It wasn't the whole ride for me, because like halfway through the song, I made the guy pull over, and I just started running to the convention center. Like pretended I was going up the steps
with your hood on, and then just going.
Just going, like, you know, somebody's getting knocked out today when I get there.
I feel it.
It was amazing. Amazing. Okay, so we're going to go. Let's talk 14s.
Well, yeah, first. Jacob had a busy day, right? You know, he coaches 14s, he coached 16s. He had a busy morning, but tell us about the 14s. Like, you know, start with your team and tell us how the day went.
Yeah, so like 14s is a fun age. I mean, you get to see them kind of right at that threshold where they're about to hit high school. So like, going to see who's going to be ready to go for that. And coaching 14s, it's a little bit humbling, because you like sit back and they really don't know a lot of things, and they're just like asking for more knowledge all the time. So it's great. This was the first time I would say most of my team has been to Triple Crown. So to them, it's like the huge shock of going up the escalator and seeing all the flags. It's like such a big moment. Like, oh, we're like 4 years away from this. So like, it's such an exciting thing. So, and sometimes that moment gets the best of you. So even though we had some really good things happen, and again, you're in a power pool. So as I told them, like, there's no stress, there's no just play free. And, sometimes the moment gets a little big. And so we had some good matches. We didn't win in the power pool, unfortunately, but really close games, 29-27, 25-23, just right there. Just a couple things we got to do better. And I expect them to be ready to go tomorrow. We have A5, number one team in the country, right off the bat in a crossover. Win or lose, we still go to the elite side. So just kind of see where we're at against these teams. But no, it's for 14s, it's really great to watch them go from day to day, like the all first, and then to the okay, now it's time to go time, and that's exciting stuff at 14. So no, yeah, it was they did some good stuff. We just got to stay consistent and be ready to go. It's really about being ready to go. Don't make the moment bigger than it is. It's just a volleyball tournament, really. That's all it really is. So so yeah,
Yeah, but
14s.
I think Triple Crown would love to hear that you literally said that you would play in this tournament like 4 or 5 times a year.
I'm gonna say it, and I think it's. I mean, there are things in this tournament that we don't get to see back home, and it's always competitive. Although the region, North Texas region, is competitive, like there are some things we just don't see in our region that we see in other regions, and it helps us prepare for that. So yeah, if I could have 4 Triple Crowns through the entire year, man, it would be great and fantastic because getting the best teams in the country to all be in one spot and you get to play them constantly, and there's never an easy game. That's way better than going, to some tournament where you might win 7 games and 2 of them are great and the other 5 are just average. So like, and you don't see very much from that. So like, this is great, and it helps build that grit that you need in the in the qualifiers and in the nationals. You need that grit, and this is the kind of tournament that helps with that.
So, Chris, can you give the rundown on your end 14s? How many teams did you take notes on today? I want everybody to hear, oh, Olivia's on. Hi, Olivia Babcock. We love you and miss you.
Hey. Well,
Okay.
in total, throughout the whole day for all the age divisions,
Yes.
well, I didn't look at 18s, but from 14s to 17s, I covered 108 teams and took notes on their lineups and rosters for 108 teams.
It's a proud wife moment.
So you got to do the job. You got to have some research. You can't just make this stuff up. And
Correct.
so there's nothing like boots on the ground and watching. And started with the 14s and made it a couple rounds. Watched all the power pools. Watched some of the stuff in the afternoon. Jacob and I were talking a little bit about some of the players we saw in the 14s, and we both who was the setter for KC Power, Jacob?
Oh man, she's a stud. She was great. She was I forget her name, but she was
Elena
fantastic.
McGuire.
Yeah, that's right. She was fantastic.
Elena, I'm sorry.
And the things that she does, she makes you have to keep an eye on her as much as possible, and it rattles. She scored 10 points against us in our match by herself and 5 in each set, and she was fantastic. She was really disguising stuff that made hard for us to figure out what she was going to do. And then when we thought we had her, she would set this ball back to the lefty, and she would just crank it line, and it was fantastic to watch. So, and we were not ready for something like that because we don't see that very much. So, so yeah, she was fantastic. The other kid I thought was pretty good that we played against was she was one of the outsides for Dynasty. She was fantastic as well, and I thought she evolved a lot from the year prior, because I was in this age group at 13s and moved up with this team. So she's evolved, and they are just so good at ball control and tempo that's another thing. We just don't see that as often. And so that was awesome as well. And then walking around, like Skyline's team did fantastic. Dallas Skyline's team, they did great. They're so physical. It helps them. Mad Frog did great with a hiccup, but they did great too. So like North Texas region represented well in certain aspects. But yeah, no, there were some really good teams. And then you watch some of these Southern California teams that are just so shoddy and so ball controlly. It's actually fantastic to watch that as well. So I mean, yeah, I mean it was it's a fun age, man. I just love watching the 14s and how they grow, and then watching them through the entire rest of their next 4 years in volleyball. So yeah,
Yeah. The of course the biggest show in 14s is out of A5.
of course.
And the top recruit in the country who could probably be playing D1 right now and carry knots.
Yeah.
I mean, I caught her during hitting lines. I think it was the second match. They were warming up, and there's people gathering around the court to watch hitting lines. And there's dads like describing what she's doing, like, oh my God, she bounced it down and it hit halfway up the wall. I mean, it's just like, it's phenomenal. And then there's girls that are just like going like, oh my gosh, like, it's, I don't know, like, it's got to be pretty intimidating to warm up against somebody like that. But
No, I agree. I mean, and you're 14, you're an 8th grader, and you're just like, holy cow, this girl's bouncing the ball on the 10-foot line straight up and down. Like, how do we defend that? And there is not a defense to that. So, like, you're hoping you block it. So,
yeah, they're running out of the back row with her. They're just
Yep.
like, I mean, and the thing is, that team has probably 3 or 4 girls that if Knots wasn't on that team, those 3 or 4 girls would be like all you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
she overshadows like other amazing players who are top tier D1 players. I mean, that team
I
is
agree.
like stacked and loaded, but that's just like how ridiculous she is. It's and they all
No, I
look like
agree.
they have fun playing together.
Yeah. Well, and the setter's amazing too. Like they have everything, and they're 2-time defending champs, USAV champs. So like they have that pedigree that just is like, and they just keep getting better, and that's the crazy. And their athletics, crazy athletic. So like, to me, watching that team is like this super high standard of what we're all trying to get to, and those kids are, living that dream right now together as a unit. It's pretty awesome, and they've stayed together. I think it's been the same team for the last 3 years. I don't think there's much movement of that team. I think it's exactly the same team. So
Yeah, which is saying something, right? Because you have that
yeah,
much
it
talent.
does.
Somebody's bound to get jealous or want to go somewhere else, and it's like, nope.
No, yeah, and that's a big deal. I think that's something that misses. We just have a lot of moving around, and the team stuff's a big deal. Especially you can trust each other and work together a lot more. You just know each other. It kind of gives that safety net for each other. Like, it's a big deal. We don't see it very much anymore, but it used to be like that. So
Well, there didn't used to be as many options, and so
you're right.
when there wasn't as many options, you were really, focused on playing at the best that you could play, and then there was nowhere else to go. So I think they were just so much more deep at first, second, and even third teams. And A5's pretty deep. Like,
Yeah.
their first, second, third team, like they've got quite a few athletes in that club. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Somebody we were watching, Kara, right? We were watching the OT 14s team out of Tampa.
Beal.
Yeah, Hannah Beal, the middle, number 22. We were like, oh, she's not too bad either. We were having some comments about her. She's an athlete too, and man, she gets up and she hammers the ball with like a lot of force too.
Yeah, I agree. Hannah, yeah, she is good. It's crazy. You watch these middles in these 14 teams that are super athletic and big and strong and all these things. So like, you get one of those kids that's like that, and they can take some teams down by themselves just because of their sheer athleticism and height and speed and all. I mean, everything you need as a volleyball player. So yeah, she's good. She is good. I watched her a little bit too today.
Yeah, the 14s, like you were saying, they're just so fun because well, at least for me, like you said, you coached this age group last year, but for me, I don't watch 13s and below. So
yeah,
that's what I love about Triple Crown is just coming here out of the gate and you get to see the 14s and kind of the next generation, if you will, and just it's what these 14-year-olds are doing as compared to 10 years ago and 15 years ago. It's a different sport right now.
Well, even the girl at Storm, the 13. Do you remember the girl on the 13s team at Storm?
Yeah,
who's
she's
like
6'2" or 6'4",
and she's just, I mean, holy cow! Like Terry's gonna come on at a certain point and chat. She wants to get on this weekend, but like I want to know more about that girl, because that girl is the real deal at 13. At 13, she's probably 12.
Right. Well, that's what's crazy about this tournament is Jacob mentioned it, but I mean, Arizona Storm's 14. They're a legit team. They're legit. They went 0-3 today too.
I know.
And this is what we're talking about. It doesn't matter though. I mean, you can go 0-3, and in fact, it's almost better. Just get them all out of the way.
Agreed.
Work some things out. You don't need to show every team everything.
Well, I think that, I mean, and I don't know a statistic for it, but I would say that there's been a couple, I would say Final Four teams that went 0-3 on the first day of pool play and have get into the Final Four of the elite bracket a couple times. I remember maybe 3 years ago that happened, and we were all like, "What?" And then they went to the final. I think it might have been. I don't remember who it was actually, but yeah, it was. I mean, like you said, I mean, a power pool is kind of this like in between. Like you can still lose and you're going to be okay, but you kind of see where you are and how you're competing, and are you right there, or you're just getting blown out of the water. And then you're lucky enough for day 2 to be like, okay, we know what we don't want to do, and now it's time to go, like, let's turn it on and let's get ready to go. And I think that helps a lot. I like I said, it's just such a fun tournament because of that format as well. Like, you don't have to have so much stress. You can play free, and that's a big deal. For some of these kids, is playing free and not playing so stressed out every single time. You have to win in order to move to this point. You don't have to first day.
We talked about this the other night with another coach, and how do you? It seems like this tournament is now all about like winning. We kind of started about like a recruiting thing we're going to play, but how do you balance that as a coach? And you coach a couple teams. I mean, you're competitive. You want to get out there and win, but how do you treat this first day, knowing that being in a power pool, you have a safety net? Do you purposely throw out different lineups to see what you got, or do you just try to get rhythm and play your best lineup?
I think it's a mix of different things. Like, to me, yes, it's a safety net, and yes, you're going to be okay if you're in these power pools going forward. But like, when you're talking about competitive people, like, and I'll just myself, like, I hate losing. So like, to me, that part becomes a really hard thing to say. Yeah, it's not a big deal to lose, because it is a big deal to lose. And so, you want everybody to play, which is a big part of what I try to do, is make sure we can see different things and see if people are going to step up into these moments, and kind of give some people rest. And some people, I see they play the same lineup every single time. And I just feel like for us, for my teams, we try to move things around, do different things, kind of see if this is working or that is working against these teams. And I think that helps you in the long run, especially when you go into the qualifier season, because you can do this. It worked out or it didn't work out, and it'll help you with the future of your team. It also helps build this like, yeah, hey, I got in and I did some stuff. I'm excited, and it builds the confidence for these kids. So but it's tough, because you want to win, but you do understand in the back of your mind that yes, winning is important, and yes, winning is a big deal. But at the end of the day, winning could be something like as easy as you got all your kids in and you didn't win any matches, and that right there could be winning in itself. Or you got some people opportunities to see some things that maybe they weren't really great at, but it got them to build some confidence in, and that could be winning too for you. So like, there's variations to winning besides just the scoreboard and the 3-0 and pool play. So like, to me, it could be a lot of other things as well. And I think each team is different, but like, for me, I think there's a fine line between, we want to win, but what is winning to us? Is it 3-0, or is it 1-2? We saw that we did some things great, and we can do some things great, and let's get ready for now tomorrow, because tomorrow now matters 100%, and we got some people in to do some things we need to do if it happens down the road. So that's how I see it.
Chris, you've been leading. You've been asking questions.
Oh,
so
I know, but I feel bad. So I was gonna try. I thought like you were looking like you were gonna jump in and wanted to say something, or
no. The only thing that I was gonna say, Jacob, is that I had a winning mom moment a couple weeks ago, because you're talking about winning.
Yeah.
So our daughter's team came in second, and
I saw that.
Yeah. And so she was all excited about her medal. I was not. I was not.
Well, they got beat pretty bad in the final. You gotta throw that.
Got their asses handed to them in the final.
Yeah.
They scored 8 points. Now, mind you, it's 11. So,
Yeah.
you know, most people might be okay, but I might have told her that it wasn't so hot and that she could have passed a lot better.
We're not going with the direct quote. Like,
You should probably pull your head out of your ass and pass better, came out of my mouth. And then there was a little tears.
Of course.
And then I had to send a text to Chris to say, note to self, not a good idea to tell our 10-year-old after they lose to pull your head out of your ass and pass the ball.
however
So-
accurate it might have been, it's a timing thing.
So I might be one of those people that actually really does want to win.
Yeah.
And so I could feel you on that moment. I would want to win.
Well, now kind of having some skin on that side of the sport, where we're like, we watch Kiki and we're now parents, and like I go around today and I'm like watching some of these parents and I'm getting like such a kick, like a dad's running over to another dad and they're like little schoolgirls, no offense to little schoolgirls, but they're gossiping and talking, and then you just see the one dad just get so frustrated. He's got to take like 6 feet away and walk and then turn around and blow off steam and come back. And I'm just like, it's day one. It's day one. It's okay. It's a long season, but then you get it, like, because it's like, they're invested in it. They both, emotionally and financially. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's there's no right or wrong way as long as you're not crossing a line.
Correct.
I try and sit in the corner and keep my mouth shut and try not to talk or make faces or I just try and shut up and then it's been very painful, by the way. This has been really hard. Coach Sam came and she did a great job. She's cheering. Come on. She's like being the hype woman. And I'm like,
I did mutter some things behind as we were like, and I did tell Kiki that there were a couple times she should have taken the back row attack. And after that match, I was like, come here.
Yeah.
I need you to go hit that ball.
She's 10. She's playing on the 11s team. So I don't know. I think I'm going to need some Valium to be a parent at these tournaments. So I don't know. All right, moving on. You want to go to 16s next? Or are you going to go 15s?
Let's talk about some 16s. How the Drive Nation 16 Red team fare today, Jacob?
Yeah, so 16 Red, they've done some good stuff. We've been on the up. We started the season. Well, this is a brand new team. So if you didn't know that, or if you do know that, all 12 girls are brand new to Drive Nation in the sense of not from last year's squad. And so for us, there's a lot of things like we go back to being together for a long time. This team has not done that. Now there have been pieces together on different teams, but as them to collective as a unit, it's been something that takes some time to develop trust, work ethic, the things they do together, camaraderie. So like that's been for a couple. I would say we started in December, so it's just a ongoing thing that's continually happening. But they have slowly and steadily been moving in the right direction through the whole season. And we have some bad losses, or we have some losses, we have some wins. But this weekend, we came off last weekend with a win in the region ranking tournament. The North Texas Unity tournament won the whole thing. We had a loss, but came out the second day and did really well. We played well, didn't drop a set. And then we felt prepared in that aspect to get ready for Triple Crown. And we the crazy thing about going from 14s to 16s is that we have game plans, but like I can work really specifically with 16s, whereas 14s, it's a little bit hard to be super specific sometimes. So we had some things already lined up where we've been working on all week so we could prepare for certain teams and things that we had in our pool. And so we did all that. And then the biggest part of it is executing what we work on. And this weekend, we did a good job of executing certain things so far. And we just got to continue that execution and do a better job of sustaining it for a long period of time, not just only when it's working. Sometimes it doesn't work, but we still got to kind of keep going. But they did great. We lost that first match to Long Beach. We thought we were pretty prepared, and we were definitely not outmatched. We just had again, it goes back to the mentality of a 15, 16-year-old, just that work ethic, the grit, the determination, handling errors. And so we kind of faltered a little bit in the second set. We were up by like 7, I think, and we kind of lost that one, which is unfortunate. And then we came a rebound back playing T Street, which is, something we have been planning for. And we've been talking about it for, 4 months. Like, hey, if we get this opportunity, let's not squander it. And we got the opportunity to play T Street, which is, we all know, defending national champs from the year previous, which again, that doesn't matter, but it's still something that we all remember from the year before. And so we had a great job. First set, they kind of took it to us, and then, just talking about potential and just playing to your potential and not playing anything else but that. And we did a great job in the second set, following directions and blocking. And then in the third set, we started fast, which is what we haven't been doing in the third set, and it kind of stayed with us the whole time, and then pulled that one out. So that was great. And then we go to an AZ Revolution team that, first off, fantastic. The tempo is amazing, and we knew that. And we talked about that. We talked if we could get them out of serve receive a little bit more, it would, hamper that tempo that they run. And first set, you couldn't ask for a more perfect game plan. With a little help from them, they did miss 5 serves, but we still did a great job of executing the game plan, and we kind of beat them 25-13 or 14, and then they came back and just, destroyed us in the second set, which was unbelievable. A 25-8, and our first serve receive broke down. We kind of didn't follow the plan, and then the third set, it's the same MO. We start down 3 or 4, and then it's hard to come back in 16 open. Like in open, just in general, but like a 15-point match, we have got to make sure we don't start down 4, because it's really hard to claw your way out of that. And we've done that quite a few times, and so this time happened too. So 1 and 2, not bad, not great, but not bad. Had a good win, but a couple losses we probably can need to do better. And then we start up tomorrow with Peak, who we played at the finals in the Unity tournament. So it'll be a battle. So we don't want to make sure we are ready to go. And 16s is fun. They do a good job, and they're very, very, very determined to show who they are. And I think that the problem sometimes is that we've never had X's on our backs before, and now we have some X's on our backs. And I think that whether we want it or not, creates a little bit of stress and pressure. And we've been doing some things of, this backpack drill that we use, where kids have to wear a backpack, which all this weight is inside of it. It's not a lot. It's like 8 pounds, or actually it starts at 5, and we move it up a little bit. But that backpack is weight of everything. Could be anything. My stress, my own stress, other people's stress, the stress of trying to get this point, whatever. And they have to wear it as they're practicing. And then when we visually see that kid struggling, someone on the team has to take that backpack off, wear it, and say, okay, here we go. I'm going to relieve you. I got this. Let me do my job now. And it's kind of helping a lot. We've done it for about a week and a half, and they have been actually 2 weeks, and they have been very much taking that on as a ownership to what we're trying to accomplish as a team. Like, somebody's going to have a bad game. Who's going to take the next torch and kind of do what we need to do? So, and I thought this weekend so far today, we've done a good job with that. Just moments that we don't do it, but yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
So 16 is great job. Great job.
Awesome.
Who were you most impressed with in the 16s as you faced? If we want to chat about players here, give us the lowdown. Who were you impressed with in 16s today?
So a lot of people, I don't know if they know, but or they don't know, but I was in this age group at 13s and 14s. So I was in this age group both years, and then I wasn't in 15s, and then I got back in it at 16s. So like, I bet 3 of the 4 years I've been a part of this age group and watching these kids. I mean, there are certain kids that you just watch and they're just like, they're so amazing. And we get the fortunate ability to see, a Sophie Peterson on TV, 16 Black, who's just, kind of one of the standards of a setter that just makes everything around her look so great all the time. And it really helps that team without passing well. She can, divvy up a ball that needs to be great for anybody on her team. So that's one kid I would say. I think the wave outside is pretty gnarly. She does a great job in range, and she can hit the ball, and she serves well. So like, and she defends and moves well. So like, I'm a big fan of hers. I did like, so when we played T Street, the middle right side,
Megan
she's
Hodges.
what is her name again?
Hodges.
Yes, Hodges. She is fantastic. She has I mean, there's some balls when she swings, you're just like, well, we're not going to stop that. So like,
Well, and she's
that,
playing up. She's playing up in age group.
yeah, yeah, and she's
So
fantastic. I mean, she's fun to watch. There was a couple other games we watched. So like, sorry, that I watched, and I really like. So Mad Frog Gentry, big Gentry fan. I think Gentry does a great job using her ability to be ruthless. And that's the right word. Like when she swings and does stuff, she's so ruthless in things. Like, no, I don't care that you're in front of me. I'm just going to rip this ball and you're not going to stop me
Yeah,
kind of mentality. Like, and it's always
exactly.
the same. So, like, that is amazing as well. And then, I mean, there's so many great North Texas kids. I mean, I even have some great kids of mine. I mean, with Natalie and Keegan and Cam, like these are great kids. And I got a kid playing. She played down at 14s and is now playing 16s. And Marley, like we have a great squad of kids. And I just think that this age group, and as I watch them grow, and I'm not just talking about my kids, I'm just talking about kids in general. Uh, they're just fantastic. Lexi Martin, perfect example. I had her at 14s, and I watch her at TAV's team, and she does a great job as well. Obviously, they have the Livings twins, the TAV, and we could talk about that team all day long. But that's a great squad. And then you go to the other teams like Gabe's team, the center from A5. Like she is
Yeah,
fantastic to
Marissa.
watch as well, and she does so many things well to help her team be successful. Also, she blocks well. Um, so that's another person. I think Houston Skylines put together pretty well. Always super athletic, and they have been since they were like 14. So like
Yeah,
super
yeah.
athletic team.
Love their
Always.
lefty Aspen.
Oh, she's. I mean, she is great. And what's crazy about her in system, she's deadly. Like she is deadly, and I think that is a fun person to watch as well. Uh, and then you go to Club V, like they have a really good outside on that team as well. And then the dark horse that you talked about earlier when we were on your article was Forza. Like the things that Forza, the thing of Forza, they're just so good, and they were good at 14s, and they just keep getting better. And I think that's a team that I think they stayed together. I think it's the same squad again, with like everybody's kind of the same. I don't think it's everyone, but like a lot of them are the same. Um, from that team. So again, being a part of this age group for 3 of the 4 years, it's just fun to watch all these kids grow from when they were 13 to when they are 16 now. And yeah, there's a lot of these great kids in this age group. I actually am a big fan of this age group. That's kind of why I stayed
It's
in it for
so
so
deep.
long.
I'm gonna give
Yeah, it's
you
so
two girls that I really really like about from this age group, and I don't know if they're quite as known. Um, One is from Vision, the outside, McKenna
for sure.
McIntosh.
Yep.
I saw her when she was on the 14s, and is like, okay, like you're good. And last year it's like she just took that next step, and then this is the first
Yep.
time I got to see her this season, and it's like, okay, you're just continuing to get better and better, and she is such a beast. And
Yeah.
it's no secret why Vision has been really good to start the season. It's like they have such a weapon in her.
You're welcome.
And another girl that I like really love, I'm not sure a lot of people know about, it's from Tri-State Elite 16, their middle, Jillian Forrest. I think she kind of flies under the radar a little bit, but she is a beast in the middle.
Yeah.
And they had a really good day. They beat Wave today.
Yep.
And those are just two players that, like, when I kind of get a chance to see them, they always kind of impress and step up.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's actually a middle from, and I'll say it because we played them. One United's middle, Crowder, the big gigantic.
Oh
She's
yeah.
got 6'5", 6'6". I mean, she is so dynamic in things and physical in in so many ways that like it's kind of hard to stop her, but then it's hard to like do things around her and like just when we played her, she was just so dominant. Like the way she plays, so dominant. But to go back to that Vision kid. I watched her when they played the TAV game, and it was just and I didn't get to watch her very long, just glancing, but she Yeah, I agree. I saw her. I think I saw her in Reno. I think it was Reno. I watched her in Reno at 14s, and she was fantastic for a 14-year-old. And I was like, well, I got to keep an eye on this kid. And then I didn't get to see them at 15s, but watching her now, it's like, you are good and you got better. And I think high school does that. I think after 14s, like high school starts to make and break some of the kids, and they like move to the next echelon of what they're going to do. And it's really if they're going to play varsity or they're going to play JV, I think it really propels them to take on this like whole new form. It's like they're shape shifting into a completely different human after high school. It's kind of crazy. And some of these girls, you see that.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. You mentioned the Forza team. They went 3-0 in their power pool, which was power pool D.
Yeah.
Now somebody on this call petitioned for them to be higher in the power pool, so I feel vindicated. I feel like they should have been in C or B, but that's okay. But they went 3-0 in power pool D. Premier Nebraska went 3-0 in power pool C, and then it was going for the Arizona clubs, like you mentioned. AZ Rev went 3-0, and then Arizona Storm went 3-0 in power pool A. And I kind of have a little personal bone to pick with AZ Rev 16, because like I love that team, but when I seem to pick them to do well, it's like they don't have my back, and they don't do quite as well. And then when I don't really pick them to do well, it's like, we're going to show you, and they step up. So it's like, I don't know, we're going to have to talk with them. We're going to have to get on the same page, because I really like that team. You talked about their tempo, their outside, their middle. They do some good things, and when they're on, like they're a really hard team to contend with. Yeah,
they're gnarly, and that tempo is fast. And so, like, that's something that they do very well, is that tempo. And that's why we talked about not sending free balls to them, because everything is when it's a free ball, they are just ripping balls fast and quick, like before we even can jump. So it's pretty cool. And I heard that they were playing up in 17s for like the last couple tournaments. Like they're not even playing 16 stuff. So like that's crazy in itself, and they're winning. So like it's just I mean they're good. They are good. And they did some good stuff.
Okay. We're 37 minutes in, so we better get to 15s and 17s.
Well, we didn't get to see as much as the 15s and 17s because we did have to come back and start to do some of our stuff. But I mean, I got to see quite a bit of the 15s, and again, that's a really competitive age group, and it's coming off 14s though. It's still so unpredictable because you don't know exactly what you're going to get still. But there's some Dynasty, the defending champion, they haven't updated AES, but I mean they went 2-0. They looked really, really solid. And then one of the shockers was, to me anyways, was Mad Frog's 15s being in Power Pool B. I know they lost a couple times during the tour, but like you can't tell me they're not one of the top teams in the country. So
well, Maya helps them. And yeah,
does.
Maya's not super medium.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
We have an in-house saying of super medium when somebody's super medium, and then when they're not, we say that was not super medium.
Yeah. Like you're a really good player when there's not a single team you wouldn't go to and then therefore be their best player.
Yeah. You're right.
Like that's how you're really good, is whatever team you go you would still be the best player.
Yeah. Well, Maya reminds me about like, and again, we go back to the Gentry Barker of 16s, like Maya, that type of dominance as a freshman in high school, and then just taking it on the 15s and being that dominant as well. Like she just does that, just like Gentry does, or Gentry did back in 15s when she was, I think she had like a player of the year at 5A or 6A or something like that as a freshman, or player of the year, like that. And then Maya has that same ability. I mean, it's like almost the same. I mean, not the same kid, but like the same idea, like that dominant every single time. So any team she's on, I mean, you got to find a way to stop her, and that's not going to happen. So you just got to do your best to make sure she doesn't kill you.
Yeah, the North Texas region for that age group is got a couple real studs. You have Sarah
Yeah.
Floyd from TAV, who
Oh yes,
is the lefty right side, who is just, I mean, her ceiling is unbelievable. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, those are a couple studs from the same area, same region.
Agreed. Yeah,
Anyone
15s is good.
in 15s? Anyone
Well,
else in 15s?
Well, 15s, we started off talking about the 14s, right? And so one of the things about that class of 2009 is some of the best girls aren't actually playing 14s; they're playing up. And we featured
That's
one
right.
of them recently on Skyline 15s, MC Crutcher. I mean, she you know, outside of Knots from A5, I mean, she might be the next best. You know, Knots is just like we were talking about earlier, Jacob. She's
Yeah,
like there's her and then there's everybody else, but like
correct.
MC might be the start of everybody else.
Yep, you're right. Well, and she does so many great things. The one thing that obviously has to improve always is the ball control idea, like just getting that ball control down a little bit better. But no, MC offensively is hard to stop. I mean, she's just very hard to stop, and she was that way last year at 13s. So like she jumps in age and go to 15s and still is dominating. It's crazy. Like just that's insane actually.
Well, in 13s to 15s is that's a pretty big jump.
I agree. A seventh grader playing in high school stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty massive. I mean, seventh grade volleyball. If you ever seen it, it's like, it's pretty tough sometimes. So then you're going into high school stuff and you're playing against these kids. I mean, it's pretty. Again, it goes back to the word gnarly. It's just gnarly. Like it's just hard to do.
Yeah.
So,
Jacob, how much do you know about Alamo 15s? Because they've done well at the tour. I mean, they beat Mad Frog 3 times. They beat Houston Skyline, the silver medalist, 3 times. It's like I was talking to one of the coaches. It's I guess their tempo is a real problem. I guess they go fast. They do some funky stuff. I don't know if you know anything beyond that about them.
I don't get to watch them much. But it's funny. I was passing by, which is so crazy. Passing by today to go watch TAV's 15s with Jason, and they were on that court up the escalator right there. They're just playing right there. Mm-hmm. Defensive tenacity. Like they were defending crazy. And then the transition game out of defense to push the tempo that they run is crazy. And they're pushing it from all over the floor. It's not like they're pushing it just on perfect digs. It's all over the place and they're just throwing it. And it's like, well, that's hard to stop because if you can push that anywhere you want defensively and then you're offensively able to push tempo anywhere, that's hard. Like, I mean, that's really difficult. And so your block's not even set up in time or your defense isn't ready in time. So I haven't seen them as much. I just kind of glanced as I was walking by, but then stood and watched a little bit, kind of felt myself wanting to watch them because I'm a big defensive guy. So like being able to watch that defense and like balls not touching the ground, frustrating other people. And then they make the errors and then you just push that tempo the entire time. To me, that's at 15s, that's tough. That's tough to stop at 15s. Really tough.
Yeah. Carrie, you got a really good clip that I think you posted from Kiva's 15s of their libero, Bella DeCenci.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that clip?
She, that girl doesn't let the ball drop. And I love her athleticism and I love her energy on the court. And I mean, she is hungry. She's a beast. She made some really, really good plays today. Her serve receive is really solid. And then defensively, I thought, she was an animal. There's quite a few liberos, I feel like, in that 2028 class. And I don't know that we really give liberos a whole lot of love, but there's some really, really good ball control players in the class of 28. I watched Ava Callie today from First Alliance, 15 gold. Really impressed with her. She got some great ups. I can't remember who I watched them play against. Do you remember who they were playing? Because you were on the court next to me, but First Alliance was good. And then Bella. Those were 2 liberos that I actually watched today that I was like, okay, these are some kids that need to be highlighted. So I got some good clips of them. So yeah, It's my rundown on ball control.
Well, didn't you get a
It's crazy
a
how-
play of Bella where you got like two? She made like two crazy digs, and you're like, I don't know if I should show this as one clip, if I need to break it into two, or
Yeah, I'm gonna probably show the full. So I'll probably end up breaking the clip up again, showing the second one, and then showing the full like rally because it was pretty sick. And actually it's at 23,000 views at the moment with just
Oh,
the
wow.
one. And it's only been on like, I don't know, a couple hours because this was from the afternoon, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
One of the things we skipped over, but Jacob and I were talking about earlier was some of the Texas teams struggled a little bit in 16s, and it kind of went a little wonky. But I'm looking at 17s, and it's like, holy crap! TAV went 3-0, Dallas Skyline 3-0, Austin Skyline 3-0, Mad Frog 17s 3-0. So it's it didn't seem like the Texas teams struggled too much in 17s.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to think about those 7 teams, and those 4 teams you just named are probably what tops in the country in their
And
respectively in
Houston
their age group.
Skyline went 2-1. So
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you have one loss between 5 Texas teams. I mean, that's pretty insane. I mean, I think I was in that age group at 15s. So like, I mean, it's been besides Mid to Net. I think Mid to Net has been the one team that I remember back then. It was just so gnarly. That was so the outsides were just amazing. But
mhm.
like, Texas has gotten with the move around of all the teams and all the different kind of it's not alliances, but like different groups coming together, it kind of solidified some of these North Texas teams to be a lot stronger. With there wasn't like just some good kids here, some good kids here, some good kids. They kind of combined to create these 3 super teams in our region, and I think they're battling out all the time. I mean, TAV's 17s are they're gnarly, they're wicked because the things that I mean, Kleckner on the outside is just, and then you got both setters setting and hitting. Like I mean, it's just. That's crazy to me. It's just crazy. You don't see that very often. So
Yeah, now living in Texas, I do the rankings in the 17s, and I'm like, okay, I just put 4 Texas teams in the top 7. Like, am I biased here? Like, am I having like rose-colored glasses? And it's like, well, I don't think so. I think the results kind of back it up. I mean, it's kind of just a special class for that state, and just it's something to watch.
well, and then you have the Excel team that kind of has upset some of these teams. Who's on the up and the
Absolutely.
up? Who's done some really great things as well. And no, yeah, I think 17's is stacked in Texas, but not just Texas, but like the Texas region. Like I said, Minton, that's always going to be good in that age group. So, but I think it's valid. I think that what you said is correct. Like those are 4 major powerhouses, and they should be in the top 7. I mean, and I would think nothing less.
Okay. Anything else that you want to share? Any camps that you want to promote with Drive Nation? Anything that we're gonna switch gears and we're gonna talk about parents and body language and being in the gym and being on a stage. So any feedback you would like to offer as we wind down on the players?
No, I just Drive Nation. Last year was kind of a down year. We're trying, me and a new club director, we're trying to create great standards and expectations in our club. And so we're trying to compete with the teams you just talked about, the TAB Skylines, the Mad Frogs, of the region. And so just trying to keep our competitiveness as a club there, because, if those are the upper echelons, we've got to make sure we maintain it. And I thought this Triple Crown was a great job of 3 of my 5 teams made the power pools, B and A, and then the other 2 didn't make the power pools, but 3 of 5, and that's pretty good for us. Last year we didn't have any, so like just having that ability to have that, and then you know um, some of the other clubs at maybe 3 or 4, and we're right there with them. So like it just shows that we're moving in the right direction as a club, which is what we wanted, because we want to be super competitive, and we moved into the MAC, so trying to upgrade that, make it really great for all of our, you know, our current kids, and just for people to see like we're trying to make this great. Um, and yeah, no, Drive Nation is on the up and the up. We want that. As I've taken over, we've tried to create this competitiveness, and that's kind of what we're doing. We got some things coming up as a club, and we're very excited to announce it. We got, you know, little kid stuff. We're trying to create a much better little kid program for us so that we can get a youth um, into our club, because we know that the youth is going to be the future. So we want to get that going and growing, and then you know, just sustaining our teams and making them all, not just our top teams, but all of our teams, super competitive and growing and being good, not just volleyball players, but like good humans in the world, because we want to empower young female athletes to be strong, and so we want that to happen, and so that's what we're trying to accomplish here. So just exciting stuff going for the future.
Love it. You do a college camp every year. When are you going to make your announcement? I feel like in North Texas, we do things later. Like
Yeah.
Sunshine's is out, T Streets is out. Like there's some great college camps that are coming up. We're really big proponents. I think they provide tremendous value for athletes, for coaches, just all around. Not a fan of third-party camps, so I talk about that a lot and probably not enough. There's a lot of really poorly run camps, but huge fan, obviously, of you, of TAV's college camp. And are you gonna combine your college camp, do you think, and use the new facility, or do you think that you'll be at the MAC, you'll do yours, and then they'll be at the new facility if they do theirs?
To be honest with you, Jason and I have not talked about that, although we have kind of mulled around some ideas, but we haven't really officially talked about it. But I think once we get that through, we're hoping to do that probably in the next. I mean, obviously, this has been a crazy couple months, so like we have a little bit of a break coming up, both of us. So I think we're going to sit down and kind of chat with that a little bit. But I don't know what we're going to do potentially yet. Obviously, that new facility that the TAV has is fantastic, and it's big enough to house, you know, whatever we want. So I think that hopefully in the next couple of weeks we will have something concrete so we can have it out there. It's just hard because I think, and I could be wrong, and you guys can tell me if I am. Triple Crown has that end of the year tournament that's in Arizona,
That's
and I
me.
think,
Mhm.
I think that what is at the end of May or beginning of June.
It's the first week of
beginning.
June in
Beginning
Arizona.
of June.
Yeah, and that's where I'm a little bit weirded out by it, because I like that, and I kind of want to do that. And so, like, to me, do I put the college camp after that week? But then we have to be careful, because after that week is, and everybody knows, it's June Madness. It's the tournament where all of our region plays. So like, it's hard to do that. So is it going to be that week before it, after the tournament? So that's where some things are kind of, we didn't expect this second Triple Crown to come out, and so now we're like, what are we going to do? So I'm kind of in that waiting to see what we're going to do kind of period before I make any decisions with that.
Do you feel like that's a better warm up than going to like AAU nationals? Like, you know, there's a lot of teams, you know, Legacy goes to AAU before they go to USAV. I mean, we saw a lot of teams, obviously the A5 teams do that. The Florida teams do that, where they do AAU as a warm up and then they go. I don't see the Texas teams used to do it. I don't see it as much anymore. Do you see the Triple Crown new event potentially being like the go-to warm-up and then having nationals, as because we always have those scrimmages and stuff that are obviously in our region? So just kind of curious what you're hearing or thinking or seeing.
So I've been doing this for quite some time, and I used to love June Madness, because like you get to play these teams and all that stuff. And then I did go to AAU's one year, and that was fun. And the issue and again, it's not an issue, just the things I think about is like the timing. Like going to AAU's, having no break, and then going to nationals, I feel like it's hard. So like, and again, I respect some of the teams. Like I think Gabe is one of the only A5s coaches. Like one of the, and I'm not saying he's the only one. I think A5s, 13s did it too. But like win AAUs and win nationals. Like there's not very many people that are doing all that stuff all the time. Like it's very difficult to do that. And I think that with Triple Crown being in June, beginning of it, it gives you that couple week break after you go to that, see where you're at with all these other teams at the end of the year. You get 2 weeks to kind of fix some things, and then let's go to nationals. Whereas in AAUs, if you mess up at AAUs or you don't do the right things, you got no time to fix it. You just got to go right to the next thing. And we all know that practice is important. So like, and it helps fix errors because you got high quality of reps there. Whereas games, it's a little bit lower quality of reps because you're trying to win, trying to score, trying to do stuff. So like that little in between period gives you the ability to, if you go to the Triple Crown in June, in beginning of June, you get that 2 week, fixing period afterwards to kind of fix some things you saw that you don't want to do at nationals because that's your big stage that you're trying to come. So like to me, I think it's great. We used to go to the JVA Cup in
West
Long
Coast Cup.
Beach.
Long
Yes,
Beach.
we used to do that, and that was great. I remember going down in 15s. That was about 4 years ago, and we loved that because we get to see California teams again at the end of the year. And actually, it was crazy. We went to that tournament. I think we took third, and then we went to nationals that year and took third at nationals because we got to fix some things and do some things. So like it just, to me, I feel like timing is a big deal with all these tournaments, and I would love have time in between tournaments so I can fix, see, scout, do things, and then kind of learn it so we get ready to go at nationals because that's your last shot. So like you don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
That's the way I think of it.
Awesome. For a minute, you were talking about practice, right? We were talking about practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Practice.
Little Allen Iverson, practice.
We're talking about practice. You're talking about practice.
not the
We're talking
game,
about
not the game that
Not
we
the
love.
game. Not the game.
Uh,
Practice.
Hey, the
Um,
fun fact is when that was filmed, by the way, they were practicing at Rhodes College when I was coaching. That was
Oh.
filmed in our gym. And who was his head coach at the time? Kara's not going to know this, but who was his head coach for the 76ers?
was it Doug Collins?
Nope.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Former
Was it
college
Taylor
coach.
Swift's boyfriend?
No, absolutely
Exactly.
not.
Totally was. Correct. You win.
You are right. Wait, former what? You said former what?
Well, it used to be former. He's was longtime head coach at Kansas when they won NCAA championships, and then he's coached. He had various other NBA stops as well. Actually, his last college, he was actually an assistant just recently with the University of Memphis, and Penny Hardaway had him on. His Larry Brown.
Larry
who
Brown.
was-
You were
who
right.
was
Larry
AI's
Brown,
coach
that's
at
right.
that time. And by the way, so when Iverson went off on that quote, fun fact, Larry Brown not present at practice that day at Rhodes College in Mallory
Interesting.
Gymnasium prior to their game against the
Ah.
Grizz.
Interesting.
That is
Little,
interesting.
little sports history for
Little
everybody.
tidbit of information there.
There we go.
Yeah.
I like
So
that.
it wasn't Taylor Swift's boyfriend then. We're
No.
going with somebody else.
Taylor
You
Swift's
know what? I don't wanna
younger,
break your
younger than
heart.
Larry Brown. Larry Brown.
If you want it to be her boyfriend, it was her boyfriend. Like, we won't burst that bubble. It's fine.
I don't watch any sports. Like I hate all sports other than volleyball, and I'm married to somebody that watches sports every single day. So there is always a sport. There's always a season. I'm like, what the hell season is this? Like, is there a break? Do we get a gap? There's no.
Yeah.
So there's baseball. We got baseball's coming up, and he was getting excited.
Oh.
Balin Out Loud is my new favorite show.
Right.
Like I'm a huge fan. And Luca got traded, which you would have thought like Chris went crazy. So he's like, you don't understand. This doesn't happen. I'm like, I don't care. Balin Out Loud is on. And he's like, I've got to wind down. We need to watch this. He's making his Lakers debut. I'm like, who gives a shit? Balin Out Loud is on. I don't care. And they were about to announce the engagement. And he's like, we're watching Luca.
And what did we end up watching?
Luca.
Luca's debut. Because it was a once in a lifetime debut.
I agree.
Like you could watch Balin like later on record, and it doesn't change anything. It's not live. This was a live event. But my favorite thing
was live. It appeared live at some point as well, but Luca
not the same. Not the
same.
Not
well,
the same.
one of my favorite things that you do is like, as a loving wife, at first you try to like feign some interest, and you'll ask a question like, so why do they do this with the ball, or like what is a zone defense? And then I like 2 sentences into me explaining, you're like, you know what, I don't care. I tried to care. I'm sorry. I don't. You can stop talking now. It doesn't matter.
Well, because I want to like show interest that it's something that you're in. And so then I'm like, oh, well, tell me about this. And then as you're talking, I'm like, I am lost. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't even know what you're saying. Like, this makes no sense. You might as well be speaking German. Call Sam. And then I usually say, call Sam. It's too late. Because Sam's the other sports fanatic that knows everything about every sport. Like everything. You can ask Sam any sports trivia question, which if you're watching tonight, feel free to throw one in the comments section. I guarantee she knows it. And it's very intimidating to men when we're in a bar situation.
I love it, Sam. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
Okay,
I've heard the point. Yeah.
Coach Sam.
Yeah.
It is time to make your debut to discuss parent behavior.
Well, first off, like, great first day at Triple Crown. Like Jacob said, I think the tournament, and obviously I'm walking all the courts, so I get to see everybody. And the volleyball I thought was fantastic. I mean, all the coaches that are here, all the coaches, it doesn't matter what division and what level. That's why they're here, because of the talent that's here with all the teams that are represented. In terms of parents, I'm going to give a shout out to Miami Hype 16-1, their dad. First thing in the morning, he does this. Apparently, we asked parents, Derek was at the court as well. He has it was a line, like a fluorescent yellow t-shirt. He literally goes up and down the sideline after amazing plays and starts yelling, "Let's go Hype." And he is waving the t-shirt up in the air and he is just at it. And I loved it.
Was he wearing a purple NYU sweatshirt? Oh, here he is.
Yes, that is him. Let's go Hype.
We have video. I'm not super sophisticated yet, and we're on the road, so I'm not sharing my screen. But okay, now
they said legit. I mean, that's what he does all the time, every match. And I loved it when his daughter got in to play. She's a setter on the team. She went back to serve. He was sitting down for the moment before she went back to serve. Was like doing the sign of the cross and pointing at her and let's go, basically. So
Jacob, when you're coaching, do you notice if a parent's doing that type of stuff or no?
I mean, you definitely can notice things like that. If he's doing things like that, waving around, you can definitely notice that. I mean, I have a parent on my team. I have a parent on my team who wears a different color jumpsuit every tournament day. And it is the coolest thing ever. And he's got different jumpsuits. He got different colors, red and black and red, maybe some purple ones, maybe some green ones. He's got a whole fitted jumpsuit.
Love it.
That's awesome. I would love to interview his daughter though to know what she thinks about her father.
Shoot.
I think some of the parents on the team, they love him, but they're like, it's early yet. We're not awake yet. So,
no coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, like you're at this event and I mean, we all go to all these big time tournaments. And I think it's also just like, I think it's always a reminder, like that dad, kudos to him, like parent of the tournament, like just of his cheering and just putting his time and energy into that versus, other parents who need to literally take a chill pill and, like your kid is playing on a stage, there's coaches out here, and the reality is that, we tell people all the time, like, look, like your kid's getting recruited and some of you, your kid's not going to get recruited because of your actions at the end of the day, unfortunately, in the time and the age that we live in. And, so, to those parents who end up filming, because that takes their energy and they're helping their team with that, you've got some parents that sometimes I know coaches have given stat duties to. It helps them stay in their lane. But certainly we know that there's some cray-cray parents and that they need to think about how their actions, especially if their daughter wants to play at the next level, coaches are watching that. We're all seeing that at the end of the day. And I think that that's just a piece that, the education piece and remembering that at the end of the day. as well. It's just super, super, super important here. So,
Since I feel like I didn't get Mom of the Year with my overall attitude with my 10-year-old playing, I did notice on TikTok that there is some new beauty tape where you can actually tape your mouth shut. And I'm almost wondering if I should wear that, like the next time that Kiki plays. Chris is
well, I
taking a
did
drink.
hear that is the new thing
a
for.
little more often than that.
I did hear that is the new thing for people sleeping at night as well.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
by
Interesting.
the way, yes, by the way, that is.
Speaking of that, so Jacob, this is one of my favorite questions to ask. What's your over under on yellow cards this weekend?
Oh, like me personally, or like as a culmination of coaches inside?
You personally.
You
What
guys
is
are
your
so
over and
funny.
under on yellow
So
cards?
funny. Well, right now I'm at 0, so that's great.
That is,
So
yeah, I
I'm
would have
gonna
lost
go.
that bet.
Well,
2 age
I'm a-
groups on day one.
I know, with 0 yellow cards. No, I'm gonna go. Back in the day, it would probably be a 5 over, but like, and it'd be a lot more delay of games because I would be like delaying
Yeah.
something at some point. But no, I would say about 2. I think 2, maybe under that. I don't. Again, back in the day, and I remember you talking about it a long time ago. How I would be this just like super energetic, crazy kind of coach, and I got older and I got kind of it doesn't need to be about me kind of mentality. So unless I absolutely need to delay the game, I need to make sure that I'm just chilling with focus and not getting all crazy and animated because that just starts to fuel the roller coaster of emotions with kids. So I'm gonna say over under 2. No, sorry, under 2, not over 2,
Ooh.
under 2.
Jacob,
Yeah.
I don't think I have ever, for the record, seen you calm on the sidelines. So that line you just gave, like, oh, I'm calm.
Trying. I said
Calm.
trying to be calm. I said
It's
trying.
a 1% every day.
It's a hard thing to do. It's really hard because I'm a competitive guy and I'm super energetic and I try to create intensity. But the intensity gets tenseness. So like I don't want to be intense and tense at the same time. So I'm trying to find that balance. I think the word is balance that I got to do on it.
Well, and if somebody's listening, they don't really know Jacob, and they're like, "Whoa, just know like we get really positive feedback on him. We've talked to some parents, to some players, like they love Jacob as a coach. So this is all in good humor and good fun. But he will get a yellow card or 2 from time to time. That's
No doubt.
for sure.
That is true.
Okay.
That is true.
You haven't lived life until you've been yellow card or red carded, actually, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
As a coach.
When was the last time you were red carded?
I actually have never been red carded.
You've never. Wow. Okay.
I know. Hey, whoa. Never happened.
Is
I've
that
seen a bunch.
It's like
I've seen a bunch.
Yeah, that wasn't
Never.
even wood you knocked on.
I know it wasn't as marble, so no. But no, I've never been red. I've seen a bunch of them, but I've never had it actually ever, and I'm very blessed by that. Not to go overboard to get that, because then it's now giving your team an unfair advantage because you literally just scored a point for the other team, and that's something that I pride myself to not let happen at all. So yellows.
Oh, so curious. Did you watch to see what happened at the tour? Oh no, you wouldn't have been in the same. Were they in the same gym, Chris, as Juliana, as Wave Juliana 17?
He wouldn't have been that day because no, you would have. Yeah,
Was
because 14s and 16s were there at Houston Juniors.
Did you hear what happened to Juliana that day? At the first tour stop in Houston.
Wave was playing TAV in the semis, and it was 14-13, and got a red card for sub delays.
I did hear that. I didn't know it. I heard it. I didn't see it, but I did hear it. Somebody told me like this happened. I was like, what? That's crazy. And so, yeah, no, I did not see it though, but I did hear it. I did hear that.
We were very sad.
No doubt. And that's just unfortunate. Like it just happens. And like, that's just the unfortunate part of that.
Yeah. Sam, how many red cards did you get in your coaching career?
2, 1 coaching club and 1 collegiately.
Which college?
The one in club was the line judge. I was coaching with Memphis Juniors. We had a great team. The line judge was on her phone and totally blew the call, and the R1 chief overruled it. And, our parents, everybody, and I went off. I don't go off very often on the officials. I never really did. But that time I just went off, and I told her, I'm like, and basically I knew I was going to get carded because I went out with the line. I said, I'm right. And you're completely wrong in this instance. And then there came the card. But I saw her like at a tournament though, like 2 weeks later. She's like, "Coach, how are you?" I'm like, "Good." "Oh, you're still here. Talk to me." In college, I was coaching at Rhodes. I took my team out to Pacific in Oregon. The officiating was awful. The lovely rule of not calling doubles in college anymore. Well, these officials believed in that a long time ago, and it was just really, really, I couldn't handle it. And I got carded, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And my assistant at the time, who was awesome, he was like, "You sit down. I got this from here on out." Like with the girls, he took them in the huddle, and he's like, "Ladies, no more bullshit. You better get out there and take care of this. This is like," and I just sat in the chair then the rest of the time. But it was just like the double, like the coach at the time, was like, he came up to me after, he goes, "My God," he goes, "I'm so sorry." He goes, "Our officiating is just awful, like awful. And I don't know, I just don't know what to tell you about this," basically. All good.
I'll tell you the most craziest red card I've ever seen. And it really was. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And I'm not going to name names or coaches or anything like that, but Lone Star qualifier, coach disagreed with the double calls in the third set. And this was a long time ago. This had to be 2019, maybe 2018. And the gentleman who was the coach was getting very animated by it. And the other side was not getting the double calls, but his side was getting the double calls. And so it was like, I don't know, I'd say about 12-8, and he was losing. And he called another double. And it was like 3 or 4. Like, it was getting out of hand, actually. And the ball rolled to the coach. The coach took the ball and chucked it at the ref. And it literally, the ref's like sitting like this, and the ball's coming, he like this, dodges it, and it goes away. And he instantly just pulled out his cards and straight went like this right away, and it was over with. And I don't think he had to leave, but I'm pretty sure he had to leave, but I can't remember that part.
Yeah.
But man, it was the most craziest red card I have ever seen, because I've never seen a coach chuck a ball at a ref on a ref stand before in my life. So that was unbelievable.
Bobby Knight.
Bobby Knight, you were right.
Yeah,
You
Bobby
are
Knight.
right.
Good night.
Yeah, good night. They definitely lost that game, but that was crazy.
Oh, wow.
We've gone an hour and 13 minutes. That's a little over schedule.
Going strong.
Sorry.
No,
No,
it's good.
good
It's just everybody. I know we got to get up early. I know you got to get up early. And as much fun as we're having, I think we got to put a bow on it.
Jacob's still got a voice, so
We're good.
Well, it's crazy because it was gone, and then it came back, and then I got some mint tea, and then it came back again. So it's like so great.
Awesome.
It's so great.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Well, that's why we needed you on day 1. Like we couldn't talk to you on day 2 or 3.
No,
no.
I'd be not speaking very much. It'd be raspy, and you couldn't hear me.
We like it.
Well, that would have been unfortunate. So we really, really do appreciate you taking the
Thank
time.
you.
Like I said, we know what time were you in the gym today?
I got there about 6:22.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Very
and it's
exact.
and it's
I know it
10:17.
only because I looked at my parking thing just a little bit ago.
Wait, tomorrow, I need to know. We're gonna let you go, but tomorrow, are you going to listen to Rocky on the way?
I am going to listen to Rocky.
Eye of the Tiger. Eye of the Tiger.
I got Eye of the Tiger going right away.
Bump,
Yes.
bump, bump, bump.
I agree.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then
Next,
will you-
I'm going to listen to Eye of the Tiger, and then I'm going to go Immortals, Fallout Boy, right back to back. That's what I'm going to
Okay.
do.
There you go.
And what I need you to do is when you get to the stairs running into the convention center, you need to run up. Okay?
I got you. I got you.
And then don't slip and fall on this god awful.
Please
Of
don't.
course. Promise.
Please
Promise.
don't.
I hate the snow. I'm gonna put it out there again. I've been cold. I'm
Yeah.
freezing here.
The
Thank
snow
God
becomes-
it's snow, but
It's tough.
yeah, I hate
Yeah.
it. Okay. Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you in the gym tomorrow.
Good
Yes.
luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
Luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we loved having you. All right. See you all later.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.